Good evening, everyone. My name is Cherno Gaye. Sorry, I'm a little too tall for this. All right. My name is Cherno Gaye. I'm a poet, I'm a university student, but for tonight, for this event, I'm just a Gambian, just like all of you. And I'm saying that because the poem I'm going to recite reflects those values. If you will excuse me, Your Excellency, the President, I just want to say something about the man without whom I wouldn't be standing here right now, who is Yankuba Dabo. In 2017, I was invited to the State House to do a poem at the launching of the think tank. And I did a good poem. I didn't remember much of it, but what happened was I was working with a lady who said, Cherno, after your event, we have a meeting at Banjul, so come with me. I didn't know the meeting was with Mr. Dabo. So when we got there, he was like, are you not the young man who was at the State House? I said, yeah, it's me. He was like, you did good. But we get to talk. Long story short, we talked about my education. He said, what are you doing? I said, I'm studying political science. Is that what you want to do? I said, no. Why are you doing it? Well, I did not sit the marks in WAS. Why? Because I think I'm not good. What do you want to do? I want to do law. I've actually already done 3 years at GTT. I have a diploma. He said, then go do maths. I said, I don't have money. He said, I will pay for the private teacher and for the exam. Go find someone. So I went and got a private teacher. He paid. I did the exam. I got a credit and came back to his office and said, I have a credit. He said, okay, go apply. I went and applied. I came back to him and said, I have an admission. He said, okay, go to school. I said, I don't have money and I don't have a scholarship. What Mr. Dabo didn't know to this day was I lost my dad a year previously. That was in 2016. Right? So he was like, okay, Cherno, I'm going to make you a deal. Until you have a scholarship, every semester come here, I will support you. And he did that. So when I got a scholarship, I went to him and said, I have a scholarship. He said, okay, if you need anything, pass by once in a while, it's okay. If you want to talk, if you need advice, whatever you need. And once in a while, I would go. So one day I went to his office and said, Mr. Dabo, I want a job. Because I did not tell him this, but a lot was happening. My dad was late. I had a mom and siblings to take care of. So I said, I need a job. Get me a job, or even an internship here. He said, no. In my head, I was like, what? This guy is the head of GRA. He can do this and I'll have a job. He said, no, Cherno, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to help you get a law degree. Then I'll help you get whatever comes after a law degree. Then we will work together to get whatever comes after that, and whatever comes after that, you go and focus on your education. You need help? Come here. So sometimes I would disappear. He would not see me for months. And then we will meet at an event or randomly. He would be like, what is going on? Why are you not coming around? I'm like, nothing. He was like, okay, next week pass by. And we built a relationship. He became a father figure. I would show up at his office without appointment, and he would spend his time to talk, advice, do this, don't do that, life is this, life is like that. And he didn't know this, but if I didn't meet this random man at that event, I could have left school. Because a lot was happening. I was in university. I didn't have a scholarship. I couldn't pay it. So I'm standing here today, not because I'm a good poet, and I am a good poet, perhaps the best spoken word poet this country has ever seen, but the reason I'm standing here is because a random man, his surname is Dabo, I'm sure he's Mandinka or something. My surname is Gaye, I'm Fuller. Bokuny, Dara, we have never met anyway, we're not relating in any way. He showed me, he saw potential and decided it was worth invested in. That makes him not an incredible man, not an incredible commissioner general, that makes him an incredible human being, and that is what we need. These are the kind of people we need. So I just wanted to say that because a lot of people keep saying, Cherno, you're this, you're that, but wallahi, if it wasn't for this man, I'm not sure I would stand here tonight. And to His Excellency, the President, I've always wanted to have an opportunity to do a poem in your presence, and now I have the chance. I'm nervous. Yeah, I remember saying, why didn't we have poetry at the President's inauguration? So please, maybe when you have other events, we should have poetry. Now let's do some poetry. There's a Chinese saying that little things done by little people in a lot of different little places across the world, when put together, is what it takes to change the world. I want you to keep that saying in mind because it is the basis of the poem I'm going to recite. Keep in mind also, I'm nervous, so if I get stuck, just smile and clap, okay? So this poem is called The Formula. The Formula because I think it is what it will take for us to build this nation. So here we go. Once upon a time, we understood that one of us didn't have it all, that two of us couldn't fix it all, that a few of us could set an example for the rest of us to learn from, but it always takes all of us to call this a nation, all of us to keep this a nation, and all of us to build this nation. So let's put aside the politics for a minute. Tonight, I want to know how you all are doing. I want to know how your sons and your wives, how your neighbors and your aging parents, how your in-laws and your husband, all the loved ones you have lost along the way, the pressure between work and home, the hope of friends and family members, the salary that is never enough, and the demands that never stop coming. How do you cope with all of it? I deal with it too, so I do understand. Do you blame the system sometimes? Because I do. I blame the government, the president too. I blame my boss for pushing me around. I blame the police officer for not being polite. I blame the traffic because I'm always late for work. I blame QCell because my internet is too expensive and it's too slow. Then I blame my landlord because he's always coming up with new rules. I blame the shopkeeper because do they left. Then me and the shopkeeper blame President Barrow because Mala be the first share. So everybody blames everybody and everyone complains about everything and we all do nothing. You see, that is what happens when we are no longer a community. Our words become weapons that divide us. Our actions become instruments of collective backwardness. We become a population of preachers who don't practice, all talk, no action. We need to understand that it will always take all of us to call this a nation, all of us to keep this nation, and all of us to build this nation. So yes, Mr. President, we may not always agree with you, but we will work with you. We will blame you when you are wrong because that is our right, but we will also pay our taxes because that is our responsibility. The police officer will learn to do his job with a smile on his face, and we will learn to appreciate his effort with a smile too. Whatever the case, he's a friend, not an enemy. You see, when the van driver does his job right, then the doctor gets to work on time and saves more lives. When the teacher teaches for the love of country and not for a salary, when as parents we raise our children along those lines and teach them the developmental formula that one bad performance multiplied over time exponentially affects all other sectors of this nation and in correlation to the national common good, that makes development impossible. And that is how we end up with the saying, ne dekabi du musa dem fen, because fuki need the gas, fuki need the soul, we will never accomplish anything. So we all must do our jobs and we must do it correctly, because it is the little things that we do individually that adds up to the final collective performance of this nation. So when NAWEC fails, then our health sector fails because our hospitals run on electricity. When the transportation is bad, our civil servants show up at work late. When the salaries we are paid cannot cater for the basic needs we have at home, we become vulnerable to corruption, and that compromises our institutions. When our private sector offers services that are expensive but don't work and the government keeps quiet, we the people suffer. So we pay all that money for the internet, but we cannot load our emails without struggling. And we graduate all those students from the university every year, but they can hardly perform the fields they specialize in. And all those little small problems we tackle every day because someone somewhere is not doing his job the way he's supposed to do it. It is time we become a community where our neighbors are like family And borom bitik bisi bopi kanbi is everyone's friend, where your problems become my problems, and together we find a common solution. We pay our taxes, criticize the National Assembly if we want, question the president if we want, because we have confidence in our courts and public institutions. And we will wake up every day and go to work with renewed optimism, knowing that we are not working for a salary, but we are building a future for our children's children. Because collective positive efforts multiplied over time across all sectors of a given nation in correlation to the national common good exponentially leads to sustainable national development. So it doesn't matter how big or small your job is, whether you're the president or a cleaner, when you do your job, do it excellently, because the outcome has a trickle-down effect. The final result is the same. So when I do a great job and you do a bad job, I don't come out as great. I come out as average as a result of your bad performance. And we must remember that there was a time when we understood that one of us couldn't have it all, that two of us couldn't fix it all, that some of us can set an example for the rest of us to follow, but we will always, always be the reason this is called a nation. It will take all of us to keep this nation, and it will take all of us to build this nation. So when you go back to your work tomorrow, whatever it is, however big or small, understand this. The minimum required standard for your work is excellence. If you cannot give that to this nation, then leave. But together, we must build this nation. I thank you all very much, and have a good night.